Good morning, Lehigh. I'm Ariel Ranker, and this is Real Lehigh News, your most trustworthy source for up-to-the-minute coverage of the happenings, politics, and scandals of Lehigh University. This week, the Career Center kicked off a new internship program that aims to give well-connected students the opportunity to succeed. After conducting numerous studies, the Career Center staff determined that many rich students aren't getting any work experience because they don't need to. The leaders of the initiative hope to raise awareness about this issue so that soon every undermotivated frat boy on campus will have an internship with his father's company. Early participants were hand-selected for their low GPAs and semi-permanent hangovers, and offered the chance to participate in a summer seminar course in order to avoid academic probation. During the course, they were taught valuable networking skills, such as, quote, "When you take clients out to dinner, always choose an expensive bottle of wine," and, quote, "Never sign any contract without consulting a lawyer." One business student raved about the program, saying that it really inspired him to reach for his admittedly minimal goals. After graduating from the course, he applied for and secured a prestigious paid internship. He was put through a rigorous 15-step application process, in which his father took his application, walked 15 steps, and put it in the accepted pile. I think I speak for all of us in saying, well done. We now have an update on the Lehigh University presidential race. The last 2 weeks on the campaign trail have been full of twists, turns, and primary upsets, and as a result, the number of candidates has been nearly halved. After Rathbone Hall hosted a series of high-profile public debates between Professors Gunter and Best, Professor Gunter took a nosedive in the polls and dropped out. The debates covered a wide variety of topics, such as Lehigh's COVID response, the Space Shuttle Challenger, and the ethics of offering students financial aid to attend Lehigh when they're always hiring at Wendy's. One particularly intense exchange, which involved Professor Best calling Professor Gunter a nerd and claiming that economics isn't even real, received especially high ratings. In less interesting news, low polls for a number of other candidates have led to a slew of dropouts from the race. These include Marianne Williamson, Roger, the rat who lives in Rathbone, Halsey, and Adam Savage. Meanwhile, certain candidates have been doing astonishingly well in the polls, such as the Ghost of Asa Packer and the Last Living Lanternfly. Of the 389 poll responses we received, several included write-ins for Tony from the Goose, who will now be running on the platform that they are called Hoagies, not Subs. Real Lehigh News will be following the events of this election closely for the remainder of the semester, and will be conducting bi-weekly polls to monitor the popularity of various candidates. Please click the link here or in the description to let us know your top choices for president, and we'll discuss the results in the next episode. Earlier this week, campus COVID restrictions were lifted to what some are calling livable levels. This comes after positive test results dropped to a low enough percentage of the student body that they could be credited to natural selection. Under the new safety guidelines, each building or common space will have a unique set of rules designed to keep students safe and keep them guessing. For example, Linderman and FML will be open for student use. However, students will not be permitted to touch surfaces such as desks, tables, chairs, sofas, shelves, books, or computers. All dining halls are now currently open, but do not allow eating or drinking. Taylor Gym has also reopened, but is requiring double masking and is also not allowing students to eat or drink. Our sources indicate that some students are having a difficult time adjusting to these new regulations. We talked to one business student who had a recent brush with death in the gym. He said that while he was working out on a treadmill, wearing his 2 required masks, and faithfully following regulations by not drinking water, he started to feel overheated and thirsty. He said that in a flash of genius, he realized that he could probably drink water through his mask. Empowered by the only good idea the business college has collectively ever had, he grabbed his hydro flask, gave a big middle finger to COVID, and doused his entire face with water to quench his thirst. However, having slept through his one political science elective, he failed to realize that this is exactly how waterboarding works. Struggling to breathe through 2 water-soaked masks and still dehydrated, he passed out, fell off the treadmill, and woke up in the health center. We certainly wish this budding entrepreneur a speedy recovery. In other COVID news, Real Lehigh recently secured an exclusive interview with a new, campus-specific strain of COVID that became sentient during a recent lightning storm. We talked with the virus about the issues it has been facing while attempting to infect enough students to survive. One major takeaway from our interview was that Lehigh's COVID virus has been subjected to some truly horrible conditions as of late. It infected one first-year student, only to find that he smokes, vapes, and drinks more Red Bull than is medically advisable. The virus said it was, quote, disgusted and unwilling to put up with these types of conditions. It is now suing the student for damages and the psychological trauma of inhabiting the same body as someone who's probably going to get lung cancer at age 30. One other unlucky virus infected a student whose off-campus house is so visually similar to the wreckage of Hurricane Katrina that it initially seemed promising. The COVID strain told us, quote, usually the messiest students are the partiers, so at first I had hope, but it turns out this guy was a computer science major, so no social life there. I had to live in this dump with him for weeks before he had any visitors for me to infect. I mean, honestly, who lives like this? You don't want to be remembered as a slob when you die, do you? While these experiences seem horrific for COVID, they pale in comparison to the time it infected an engineering professor going through a nasty divorce. The poor virus had to hear about alimony and industrial systems engineering for so long that it committed suicide, spontaneously curing the professor. That's all the news on Fit to Print. I'm Ariel Ranker, this blazer doesn't fit me, and this has been Real Lehigh News.
Hello Lehigh! I'm Ben Metz, and on today's episode of Metz Meets, I'm meeting with a representative of the Formula SAE team, Max Campasano. Formula is the club with the second fastest car on campus, second only to that guy in the Honda who keeps revving his engine outside my window at 11:30 at night. We get it, you're lonely. Anyways, welcome Max.
Thank you for having me. I love the getup.
What exactly is Formula SAE, and what is your role on the team?
Formula SAE is a student-run club where Lehigh students design, build, and race a Formula One style car. Every single component of the car is designed and assembled and then raced by us. And I am one of the chassis designers and a member of the management team.
How does your Formula car differ from any old Honda?
First of all, it only seats one, so no passengers. Our car is designed around a steel tube frame chassis. My background, you can see it starting to be assembled in my virtual background there. But it's steel frame, little tub basically that the driver sits in. We've got highly advanced carbon fiber suspension arms. We have a little ATV engine that we've modified to get around 60 horsepower out of. There's no air conditioning, so that's different from, your Honda Civic that's revving outside your house. It's a real proper little race car that we fully engineer pretty much all on our own.
Do the little helmet take off hair wave.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah.
Your helmet there is fantastic.
Thank you. So who drives the car?
Members drive the car. We have 4 drivers at competition. There are 4 driving events, 2 drivers per event, and each driver is limited to doing 2 events, so we need 4 people total.
Can I drive the car?
You cannot, because we determine who drives the car based on amount of time and effort they've put into the team, and unfortunately, you're not on the team and you haven't put a lot of time or effort into it.
What if I join the team?
You could test it after being on the team for a little while, but I don't think you're going to drive a competition, pal.
Formula students are known for the insane hours that they put into the team. What's the longest that you've ever spent working in the shop?
The longest I've spent continuously in the shop is my freshman year, the night that we finished assembling the car. I got into the shop at 1 p.m. on a Friday night, and I left at 1 a.m. Saturday morning.
Can the car go uphill or just on flat track?
I mean, I imagine that we could drive from Packard to the top of the fraternity and sorority hill.
Have you ever considered alternative fueling or powering options, such as electric or hydrogen?
We're looking to swap into an entirely electric car in the next few years.
In the popular and amazing show Phineas and Ferb, there's a robot that, according to a song, is run entirely on squirrel power. Is that possible to adapt to the SAE car?
From a purely theoretical perspective, sure, but no.
What is your favorite engine sound? And I would like you to imitate it as enthusiastically as possible.
My favorite imitation of an engine sound was a buddy of mine a few years ago. It was telling me about driving a manual car for the first time. And he was like, it's making a funny noise. And I was like, what noise is it making? He's like, you know, you start accelerating and it goes, brah, chka, brah, chka, brah. And I was like, if it's going chka every time you're changing gear, it's probably broken. I guess the best engine noise is just nyom.
If you'll allow me a moment, I'm going to demonstrate my favorite engine noise, which is of the electric car.
See, I should have thought of that.
What does it mean when someone on the road like revs their engine really loud?
Oftentimes when people have a really, tricked out exhaust, just trying to make a sound loud enough to drown out the wails of their wilting soul. But oftentimes on the road, when somebody pulls up next to you and revs their engine at you, it's either them saying that they like their car or they want to race you, or they are interested in you, shall we say, and that's their only known mating call.
What kind of tips can a player like me get to attract all the auto mechanics to my PT Cruiser?
Everybody knows cars with flames are more awesome.
Finally, for the love of God, Max, please let me drive the car.
I can't.
That will conclude our interview for today. Thank you for joining us, Max. It has been lovely to talk to you.
So freaking lonely, dude. I wish this was us.
I hate being single.
It's just so hard to meet people. And I hate Tinder.
It's the worst. And with COVID and everything, it's like we're gonna have to wait till everyone gets the vaccine before we can date again.
I'm gonna be alone forever.
Too.
Is this you? Sad? Alone? And sure you'll ever start dating again? Well, lucky for you, in an upcoming episode, we're gonna have a dating segment where we will match you with your special person using our scientifically proven algorithm. So you'll get a date faster than you'll get the vaccine. All right, ladies, it's all gonna be okay. Thank you.
Six months ago, we could not have predicted how the fall 2020 semester at Lehigh would turn out. What we did know was that it was going to be a challenge. We also knew that it was going to be a challenge, and I'm proud and thankful to say that it was a challenge. This semester certainly was not perfect. It wasn't easy. We faced uncertainty and had setbacks along the way. I was particularly inspired by the Lehigh spirit that was on display throughout the semester. I could list many examples of spirit and provide them with needs. As we wrap up this semester and look ahead to the next, we face new uncertainty. The rising number of COVID cases across the country is deeply concerning. The spring semester will likely have its own spirit. As we have since the pandemic started, we will continue to prioritize spirit. I thank you again for all you have harnessed and that you'll continue to harness spirit. I wish all of you and your loved ones a happy holidays. May 2021 be filled with challenge.
This week's featured comment is YouTube telling us that our music is a copyright violation. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Or don't. It's a free country.